get a glass of water.
We're live.
Thirsty for clicks. That's
Go
what I
live,
do.
and you're off the frame. Stupid.
I'm in the frame.
No respect.
I'm coming.
No respect.
And look, this guy already has water. Take a sip, Tom.
Yeah, Tom had water prepared.
See, he's ahead of you. He's prepared.
I'm back.
Welcome back to another clickbait episode. Yes, the Cowboys did lose to the Eagles. We'll get into that. But before we start anything, you got Five, you got Perna, you got Tom, you got Tree, you got myself. But we're going to immediately jump into something very special. Tom Grossi has been nominated by the Green Bay Packers to be the fan of the year. Can we just get some rounds of applause in the chat as well for Tom Grossi?
Right to start the show. Let's
Broncos
go.
all the way this time, Lord Taco.
I don't know who's that. Is that to Perna? Might be
We
Perna.
ride
Lord Taco.
and we die together.
You know how many
So
doctors I could buy?
can you just take us through what that process was like? I didn't even know there was a fan of the year type of thing happening. Is this the first year for that? Just take us through that whole process, the phone call that you got, and how that came to be, Tom.
All right, so that's a longer story, but I'll shorten it up a lot. So basically, I was made aware. So fan of the year has been around for at least the past couple of years because there's like 2021 winners, 22.
Larry
at least
Bevins was
2020.
last year's NFL Fan of the Year from Seattle.
Yeah. I think someone from Atlanta won like 2 years ago. I personally didn't know about it. It just wasn't like on my radar. I didn't know. So after 30 and 30, I was doing some streams. I think it was probably just Friday night Q&As. And they started, I think a fan or two, donated and did a super chat and was something about fan of the year. And I was like, oh, I don't even know what that is. And I looked it up and I was like, oh, yeah, that'd be cool. But okay. And then I moved on with my happy life.
Can we solo Tom?
Hi.
Brandon.
Yeah.
What?
There's no
Solo
one who has
Tom.
solo except Brandon.
Oh,
I could, but I can't reach.
Okay, there we go. I soloed myself.
Uh-huh.
Wow. Hey, crush that date.
I'm
Let's
locked
go,
out
right?
again.
Let's go. Game probably won't be well. But, all right, someone else gets super chats then. Anyway, so I got the phone call a few weeks ago from the Packers. I missed the phone call originally because I keep my phone on silent because I don't want to get phone calls. And I eventually called them back. We played phone tag for a hot second. And they called and basically said that there were a ton of people who nominated me to be the Packers fan of the year. They appreciate you, Rad Guy, read the story over and over again. And then they decided that this is what they were going to rock with, that it was going to be me. So what that entails is that I'm getting 2 tickets to go to the Super Bowl. Going to the NFL honors. And I'm going to be out there from the 8th, I think, until about the 12th. I already got invited to an event for St. Jude because they have a huge charity dinner where they're actually honoring Tony Romo. It's like the Pat Summerall Award. And so because of what I did with St. Jude, they invited me to go to that, which is in Vegas that same week, obviously. So yeah, so that's pretty incredible. And then they told me, and they're like, all right, you need to go get a photo shoot done and all that stuff. That's why it was the white background and all that great stuff. So did that, got the photo shoot done, wrote a little bio, and sent it to them. And then they put it out on Tuesday. It was just a tweet, but they put it out on Tuesday. And yeah,
Can we scroll down a little bit? Sorry.
The support was freaking incredible. It was just so awesome. The amount of people who came out and said some really kind things was really, really cool.
The Raiders fan didn't even show up.
I saw the Atlanta fan. Her name is April Showers. I would have voted for her based on that name alone. Yes.
Gosh.
But yeah, so and it's cool too because 2 of the guys that also got nominated for Fan of the Year is Dell from Buffalo, from the Bills, who runs 26 shirts, and I had 26 shirts create the shirts for 30 and 30. So that's pretty damn cool. And then for the Bengals, it's Tony the Tiger, who I also met during 30 and 30 as well. So that's just really awesome too. And so basically voting open today. I have to answer like a questionnaire for them, but voting opened today, so you can vote. That is like 10% of the vote, and then the winner gets like a trophy at the NFL Honors.
No way.
So if you're like,
I'm not voting for you, by the way. I'm just,
That's
I
okay.
can't, out of prep.
So there's some like phenomenal people. So yeah, no,
Oh,
it was just,
Yeah.
it's really, really cool.
Do we know
Broncos
how the
nomination? What? The Broncos nominee, Kerry Green. I interviewed him and his son at the game, and they showed up to the game in these Mile High Monster costumes they created, and Kerry passed away this year.
Oh, no.
So a cool nod to like him and his son, and them, you know, showing up to like every Broncos game. I forget for how long, but I just went and I voted for Tom today, and that's where I finally saw who the Broncos nominated, and I was like, oh, that's really cool, and it's cool just to see like everybody that they highlighted. Here. But obviously, we gotta make sure Tom wins it.
Yeah, I know.
So
I
that
said
was
I
the-
wouldn't vote for you, but I'll vote for you.
I went the funny because like I couldn't tell anybody. Like they were just like, you can't tell anybody, and I was like, okay. And it was funny because other fans totally did. Like they just went online and were just like, yeah, I'm like the fan of the year for whatever team, which was funny. But I called Perna and I told Perna, and he was just like, yeah, you're gonna win. And I was like, so like it was cool. It's a really cool moment. You know, I've loved this team since I was 6. So for 27 years, I've been a fan. So to kind of be able to represent the Packers a bit is it's pretty damn cool. Yeah, you won.
Tom,
Wait, you won.
Tom, when you go to the Super Bowl, can you wear the Head and Shoulders costume?
So
Can you-
it was funny because I said that this kind of comes full circle because when they called me, I was like, are you sure? And she was like, what? I was like, are you sure? Like, are you sure? Like 100% this is it? Because funny story, I got an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl, and then 20 minutes later, they took it back and said, sorry, we sent it to the wrong person. And I got shampoo from Head and Shoulders instead. So
You're like a traumatized kid that
I
just
was like, I
did
don't
not
believe
trust
it until
me.
I'm in Vegas. So
The NFL has a chance to do something
you, Jeremy.
really hilarious.
They
in
do.
your
They
hotel
do.
room. They could give you a gift basket of Head and Shoulders.
Yes.
you know what? I'd respect it though. I'd respect
Who
it.
do I need to call to make that happen? Hey,
Just be like,
this is
yeah,
And
let's just.
I will.
Can we put the link to vote
Taco!
for Tom in the chat?
Yeah, is there a
Uh,
link?
Let's just put the link.
Already did. Bam, 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 bam,
Bam,
bam.
bam, bam, bam,
I'm-
bam, bam.
Yep. I already
I'm
voted.
not
I'll probably vote
sure.
again.
I'm not
I'm gonna
sure
vote for
how it
myself.
works, but I did vote for Tom 3 times already. I don't know how the voting works. You can just vote multiple times if you just. I don't know. I'm not sure.
You have the emails,
All right.
I think.
3 times in
we're
one
gonna
night.
go. We're gonna go from very high highs to very low lows. The Cowboys did get beat by the Philadelphia Eagles. Let
Nice
me
lows.
hear what you guys have to say about this game, because I'm prepared for anything and everything you have to say to me. What do you have to say about this game, guys?
I'd say that it's a game of inches, Scooter. It's a game of inches.
Some would say 2-point conversions as well.
I
I
would-
mean, you could go goal line too, game of inches. Yeah, that
My goodness.
foot.
It's unfortunate. It reminded me of when the Broncos lost to the Seahawks last year to start the season off.
Mm-hmm.
A game that they fumbled twice at the red zone, like at the goal line. One on 3rd down, one on 4th down. And it's just like this much more, and we win that game easily. I forgot I do moral victories in my winners and losers. I just forgot I do that. I would have given it to the Cowboys this week because I thought they had a good moral victory.
I agree with that.
You know,
That's
good
fair.
moral victory. And I wanted your opinion on this, Scooter, because I put him in the power rankings this week, and I was like, Dak's playing well, defense pretty good, opportunistic. Like, what is the thing that's missing, that's holding him back a little bit? And I think it's your run game. I think it's like an effective run game, but Tony Pollard, I thought, was going to be like a top 5 back this season.
Yeah, he's been disappointing.
And I think like if he's the version of him we saw last season and they're getting those big plays from him, specifically like short passing game stuff, I feel like that's the thing that could put Dallas over the hump. Is that fair, or am I just kind of...
No, that is fair, but I don't think it's the run game. We sort of have abandoned the run game when it's not working, and that's fair. That's fair. You don't do things that aren't working. So why are we going to force the ball to Tony Pollard if he's averaging less than 3 yards? Again,
3.9 yards
we're
per
gonna
carry.
we're gonna pass the ball when we're going up against a team like the Eagles more. So that's understandable. I think this is what's missing. This is what puts the Cowboys over the top. And it's unfortunate, but it's the fact that some of our starters who are getting paid were being outperformed by the people under them. And since they've come back from injury, the starters have been elevated again. You look at a guy like Wanye Thomas. This man has not played. Donovan Wilson was injured and he comes back. Yes, he's performing okay, but Wanye Thomas was balling out of control. It's things like playing Michael Gallup as the third string receiver when you have a Jalen Tolbert who's been lighting it up. This new signing with Martavis Bryant is very interesting because it's like, what do you do with Michael Gallup, the same guy who you paid, who you've been playing? So I just think it's those hard decisions that the top management has not done to put us in a better chance to succeed. I remember earlier I was talking about Leighton Vander Esch and how I didn't think it would be a step back because he had slowed down a little bit. You look at a guy like Marquise Bell, who has been literally the top-rated linebacker coverage performance throughout his tenure thus far. So I just think if we did that with a couple other positions, we would be right where we need to be. Would we have won that Eagles game? I don't know. There were a lot of things that you could say go this way or that way, and we win or lose. I just wanted everyone to see that this Cowboys team is for real. I don't know what happened with the 49ers, but you can see that we have the ability to perform against top competition as long as we don't play the 49ers.
Yeah, as long as the 49ers.
But
Can I just go ahead,
man.
Can I
Go
just
ahead.
interject? This is like the most non-delusional and sensical take I've ever heard Scooter make in the history of the show. Like there's really nothing I can disagree with there. Like Scooter, like, I mean, you guys have a decent roster, you have a decent team, and you played, the Eagles tough. Like, I don't like it. I don't like seeing it. But the other alarming thing is, like, the Eagles aren't even still, again, not playing their best football, and they still handled you guys. So
even then, they gave them a bunch of chances to try and win. So,
yeah, I mean, like, there were
like
opportunities.
a knee wasn't down and a foot wasn't out of bounds. Cowboys somehow win this game.
Yeah, and then Scooter would be mad insufferable right now. He would just be dunking on all.
Not-
I might have
really.
come absent.
It's not really, because I just think this is a very good Cowboys team. I'm not going to blame the refs for the loss because the refs were atrocious on both sides. Like, I don't know what
the
was
exact
going on
opposite of what you
for-
said in the green room.
Yeah.
Exact opposite.
Well,
I mean, a lot of Cowboys fans were going off about the officiating, so it's
the
it's not
officiate.
just-
Well, it's just like the pass on the goal line. The guy's getting tackled before the ball's there. They say his knee's down before he even has possession.
It was down. It was down.
Scooter.
Okay, but he didn't have possession. Yes.
Brandon.
How many people tagged you in this week? I just want to know.
A lot of people, and then they were like, Dak couldn't get it done with all of these players. He's a fraud. He's terrible. And I'm like, bro, I don't think you understand what it means to be a number one on a team. Like, you get more targets when you're a number one receiver.
It's true. It's true.
That's
But
like
it's a very-
600 yards, 600 receiving yards from four Cowboys ball catchers and one current Cowboy ball.
And the sad part is, I'm just going to say it out loud, and I don't be offended, Scooter. He might not be the best quarterback in his state. That might be C.J. Stroud right now.
Oh, by the way,
That's nothing against Dak. I just think C.J. Stroud's that good.
Sure, but that's your opinion, and that still doesn't negate the fact that Dak is the best quarterback in the NFC. Per stats, you look at everything, Dak is a top 10 quarterback in
Dak's
this
a good
league.
QB.
The
He was
stats
great.
cannot be denied. CeeDee Lamb played amazingly in that game, outplayed A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. The Cowboys are for real. We're just going to see. We got a cupcake schedule coming up, and the Eagles got a very hard schedule. It's going to be interesting to see how things play out because the Eagles got the Chiefs, they got the 49ers, they got the Bills. Meanwhile, we got the Giants and the Panthers coming up next. So
Tough games.
Very,
Yeah,
very exciting
the
times.
Giants will lay down like
Hey, it's the
Um,
Tommy DeVito
like
era.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know
Giants
what?
are gonna lay down like
Where's
a
my
guy at the beach. They're just gonna be
Let's, Let's actually pivot to the Giants. You guys lost to the Raiders,
yeah, I saw that
30-6.
coming.
Congratulations on your Jeff Saturday game, dude.
I
The
saw that
question
coming.
is Daniel Jones done as a Giants quarterback? Will he play another game with the New York Giants? That's the question.
He's done. So when you look at when he was in there, like he wasn't good, and he was healthy. Like we got shut out by the freaking Cowboys, and then we laid an egg the next week. Like he has not been effective. I don't know why he's not any good from last year when he was effective, but I think he's done. Like, and the Giants clearly from here on out, if they're losing to the Raiders, a team that their ex-team captain is coaching off the count, like Antonio Pierce has no head coaching experience and dissected the Giants because they traded freaking Leonard Williams, and I knew they had no run stopper in the middle, and they were just going to gash him with you guys like Tony Pollard, like whoever is if you're playing prize picks, use code 5 points, by the way. If you have that game, project Tony Pollard over, okay? Because the Giants cannot stop the run for the rest of the year. They're going to get bodied. So I think Daniel Jones is done. I don't see him coming back. Like what? Or at least maybe he'll be the starter for whoever they bring in. There's options in this draft. Penix, who I want to see a big Penix in New York next year, or whoever the Caleb Williams guy. But it's coming. Like they will draft Jones's replacement, and they will make him teach him how to be mediocre.
So before we get into any other games, let's just stay on the Giants and let's talk about the title of this episode, the Tank Bowl. So who
The greatest
are we
game
going
ever.
to think
The greatest game.
wins the Tank Bowl for this year? Who will be the absolute worst team in the NFL? Keep in mind the Panthers, if they are, that pick goes to Chicago.
It's a win-win for Chicago.
And both teams are completely battered. Have you seen how injured Carolina's defense is? No Shaq Thompson. No J.C. Horn. Brian Burns is out. C.J. Henderson's out. They're down to linebackers they picked up off the street. They just signed Blake Martinez, old friend of five, and Tom Grossi.
The
Pokemon scammer, and now he's probably going to scam the Panthers because he gets a bunch of tackles in the middle of the field after 10 to 15-yard receptions. And the Bears, they're going to be without Fields again. They're without a few of their quarterbacks, a few defenders as well, I believe. I don't know if Tremaine Edmonds is playing. I think there are going to be a few guys down there as well. So this is going to be a fantastically ugly game. Bring out the liquor. Al Michaels is, it's going to be fun. But, Tom, I'm so sorry. And actually, me and Five are going to be streaming it on Dumpster Fire because it's such a spectacular just wreck that we have to broadcast it. It's Super Tank Bowl, man.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of
all these primetime games are so bad this weekend. They're so bad.
But they're great games, man.
Yeah.
Don't you understand?
So
it's
bad.
spectacularly
Panthers,
horrible. And they're all going to be like one-score games, like 9-6.
If you're looking at this draft order right now and you're the Cardinals, do you really want to bring back Kyler Murray and potentially win 2, 3, 4 games to get you out of that number one position? Do you think this is something that their higher-ups are considering right now?
You do it for two reasons. One, you see what kind of chemistry Kyler Murray has with the new coaching staff they have there. And if Kyler Murray looks good, and we've seen Kyler Murray look really, really good, then you're in a spot where you do not have to take a quarterback. And if you have the number one spot, you could trade out of that spot, hypothetically. You could, and they already have like extra picks.
The Texans.
So they could have a ton of picks. They could have a ton of picks to build for as long as they want around Kyler. Or Kyler plays good, but they keep losing because their defense. Then they have some leverage to trade him. They can increase his value if he plays well, and they still lose, which Josh Dobbs was kind of doing for them. So, I think you play him.
Who's like a potential suitor for Kyler Murray though?
Great question,
Like,
Ricky.
My question is, with his contract, they're going to be eating so much dead cap, it might not be worth to trade him. That's the only thing with Arizona, because remember they extended him the previous year.
yeah, I know.
So
Yeah.
let me
I
look.
think
up
he
his-
has a dead cap hit in the 80 million range or something like that. If they were to cut him, like he has a cut cap hit. I think at one point it was
dead
over
cap
100
is
million.
$81 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
And
almost
the
like
year
you
after
can't-
is a more manageable 33.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you guys were putting your money
Packers
on
could
who
use him.
gets the number one pick in the NFL draft, who are you putting your money on?
Who do the Cardinals play this weekend?
The Cardinals play the Falcons
Oh, that's.
I
gonna
feel
be
like I
another
need one
record
more
game.
week to gauge the Cardinals.
at home.
Well,
too.
it's Kyler's first game back. That makes this tough, because I would say after last week, Arizona, they got beat so bad by the
So bad.
Browns.
Oh,
But
dude,
But they had Clayton
Atlanta-
Tune out there.
never underestimate how bad Atlanta can be. They are a frustrating team, and it's just mind numbing whenever I have to watch them. It's God kill me.
yeah, no, I know Tune was bad, but they were. We need to research this, because the stat I dug up for power rankings, or whatever video I did, is so Arizona had 58 yards of offense in that game. Okay, 58 yards of offense against the Browns. When the Broncos started Kendall Hinton, a wide receiver, on 24 hours of notice against a very good Saints defense, they got 118 yards of offense. So Clayton Tune, who is a trained QB, they managed 58 yards of offense. So it was bad. Yes, backup quarterback thrown into a bad situation playing against the Browns, but it's in those. Oh God, it's probably one of the worst offensive performances in several years type category.
Another
to watch.
quarterback who very interesting performance, not related to any of our teams, but Josh Dobbs coming in for the Vikings
Oh, they're so
and
good.
getting that win.
Mhm.
That was very impressive. Tom, do you have to say anything about that?
Listen, I like Josh Dobbs. I obviously hate the Vikings because they're purple incarnation of Satan. But I will say, like, it's so easy to root for Dobbs, right? He has just such an awesome story. And when he get traded from the Browns, then goes to the Cardinals, beats the Cowboys, which is kind of like a big thing, and kind of keeps them somewhat competitive. And then on top of that, like, then goes where there's a lot more talent on the offense right now, and is able to go in with like no reps and win the game. And that's after struggling and like getting a safety the whole nine. Like, dude, it's just such a great story. So, no, I always like Josh Dobbs. I just hope the Vikings don't do well. That's all.
That's fair. Who? Oh, go ahead, Five.
No, what's scary is like the Vikings were dead to rights. Like they were 0-3. Then, Cousins leads them back, and then he goes out, and then they bring in Dobbs. Like their whole season teetered on that last drive and that play by Josh Dobbs. The one thing that's amazing though is, NFL offenses are so intricate, and for Dobbs to just come in and do that, like that's amazing. That's an amazing testament to his performance as a player, because you don't just come in and do that. If you guys remember Josh Freeman on Monday night against the Giants, missing just not even throwing to where his receivers were because he just didn't know the offense. Like that is like Dobbs knew what he was
Josh
doing.
Dobbs a literal rocket scientist?
Yes. He interned with NASA. They call him the Pastronaut.
Really?
So
So
he actually did have a really good quote the other day as well. It's like comparing, like, he took AP Spanish all year, then randomly gets transferred to AP French, and then he has his final the next day. That's what he really came down to.
Well, actually, I heard that he was a suborbital ballistic propulsion engineer, so he's not exactly a rocket scientist.
That's fair.
There
That
you
is
go.
fair. So the Vikings got a win this past weekend, and
Here's a
so
picture of him
did.
actually in outer space too, which is cool. Not a lot of people know that he went there.
That's true. That is
And
true.
here's a picture of
That's
Will
where-
Levis shaving off his eyebrows because he was so impressed with Josh Dobbs.
I don't think that's Will Levis, but I did see that TikTok. I also saw that the
Was he on
Packers
Good
got a-
Morning America with you, Scooter? Did he host that day?
No,
Because
he
here's
wasn't
him at a
hosting.
news desk.
It was Kathy Lee and Hoda who were hosting.
Hoda.
Should we keep?
But I'm
met-
trying to transition.
Did you meet
I'm
Hoda?
trying to- I did. I met Kathy Lee and Hoda.
Oh, no.
I'm trying to transition. This is my third attempt to the Packers game versus the Rams. The Packers coming out triumphant against backup quarterback. Tom, take us through what happened in that game, because I was watching. It didn't really look that good initially for you guys, but ultimately you guys ended up coming through with the victory. Is the Packers season over, or is it just getting started?
Maybe.
Good
I'm going
question.
week to week. I got no idea. I don't think it's going to go well, but I'm hoping every single week. Because, listen, we scored a touchdown in the first half, so the limit
only
is
go
the
up.
moon.
Honestly, that's how I felt this past week when the Steelers scored an opening drive touchdown.
I'm
It's
telling
like,
you,
we
like-
could score touchdowns.
Folks, Tree and I are going to stream this Sunday.
It's gonna be so
The
bad.
Steelers and Packers are almost an identical team, except they have a better defense. Jair Alexander's banged up, but a whole bunch of your guys, like Minka's banged up.
Yeah,
There's a
Minka's
bunch of,
banged
like-
up. Cole Holcomb's out for the year. Cam Hayward's been dealing with injury. Came back a little bit last week, but he's still a little banged up.
And like Tomlin spoke up because he was asked on that press conference. He was like, what about Kenny Pickett's performance in quarters 1 through 3? He's like, but you haven't seen him in the fourth quarter. So like legit, this may be a 0-0 game until the fourth quarter, and then
No.
both teams will show up
Dude,
and it'll be discussed.
Be a little more optimistic. It'll be like 6-3. Come on.
That could be a possibility.
Monday night?
Yes.
Yeah.
I want 0-0, and then in
Several
the
missed
fourth
field
quarter-
goals and a couple interceptions.
Yeah, fourth quarter, each team kicks 5 field goals.
That's very
15-15
possible with the Steelers.
tie,
Very
overtime.
possible.
But, okay, so we got the preview coming between the two games. But go back to this Rams game, though, for a second. What happened for those who didn't see this game? To break it down for us.
Well, we gave the ball to Aaron Jones, and we won. And then when we don't give the ball to Aaron Jones, we usually don't win. But legit, like, we actually established a ground game. Like, even Dylan looked good. On top of that, the Jordan Love played, like, he didn't make any mistakes, so that's always nice. He didn't turn the ball over. And then the defense played really, really well. It is against Brett Rippon, who also, right after that game, got kicked off the Rams. So, there's that. But
Carson
the defense,
Wentz.
like, played pretty darn well.
go.
Valentine, who was a 7th-round pick, came in. Like, he played really nice in the preseason and then, like, struggled a little bit in the beginning, but had a really nice game. So, like, yeah, I mean, is there a lot to evaluate? There's not a ton, but I think at the end of the day, it's something that maybe could be a building block. But I'm dead serious when I say, like, this is a week-to-week team. I have no idea, like, what's going to show up. I don't know if they're going to show up in the first half. I don't know. So the Steelers game is going to be interesting, more so for Jordan Love. Like, how is he going to be able to operate against that defense, which is pretty damn good? That's the one that I'm really going to be looking forward to.
It is a week-to-week league. I've been trying to tell you guys this. Question, if Matt Stafford was playing, would you guys have still won that game?
I don't know. I don't
Maybe.
think so, but I don't know. I mean, I will say, like, that Puka did nothing. Like, Cooper Kupp did nothing. So it obviously was a quarterback problem. They also had no run game either. So, I mean,
They're down to backup running backs. Like, they're down. Ronnie
So-
Rivers and
They're
Kyron
banged up.
Williams are both injured.
Yeah. They're tanking now.
I'm sure it would have been a much closer game if that was the case, but yeah,
That's fair.
that is true too. That is true.
Another close game was the Steelers taking on the Tennessee Titans. We all predicted that game. I predicted incorrectly,
Oh,
but
yes.
take us through what happened in that game, Tree.
Well, a couple ways to describe this first and foremost. Matt Canada went from the press box to the sidelines, and I was sitting there stunned as all hell when I saw on my television screen a competent offensive drive to open the game. And this has never happened in like most of the year. They usually go 3 and out for the first 3 or 4 drives. That's been a big issue of theirs for all year. And then they suddenly go 3 and out for the next 3 or 4 drives. that's the Steeler way. But most of the time, I feel Tennessee tried for the most part. Will Levis looked interesting. He looks like he's got promise. He needs to hammer out a few things. But for the most part, I felt like he corralled the offense well. I think he is a better option than Ryan Tannehill. So it's a good thing that he is the permanent starter now because you need to see what he has and see if he develops. For the most part, though, Tennessee is still obviously a team in flux. They're still trying to rebuild. They couldn't really pull away from the Steelers, even though they had the lead for the most part. Their only real touchdown drive was on the back of some blown coverages by the Steelers and Derrick Henry rumbling. the problem with Kenny Pickett, he'll look like dog water for 85% of the game. And I will sit there and I will think, dude, really? Like, where was this a pit? And then he somehow redeems himself. He turns into John Elway in the fourth quarter, or Eli Manning, like he turns into mega clutch.
No
He's making these deep throws. It just goes nowhere. And it just like he leads touchdown drives. He's had 7 comeback drives and 6 fourth quarter like comebacks in the final 2 minutes. Like it's something ridiculous. And
here's a question.
Like I can't give up on the guy for that reason. He's clutch. It is the weirdest thing. And Steelers won again. It was probably their most convincing win of the year, even though it was a last-minute drive that they tried to hand the Titans the game because the Steelers were kind of sloppy on the penalty front. But for the most
part, if you would have told
me
me George Pickens had 2 receptions for -1 yards, and the
he's upset about
Steelers
that.
still won the
Underdog
game,
special was 0.5 receiving yards. And it was
I
like
would not believe you. Can you tell us about that?
No, the NFL
square?
knew it, and that's why they're trying to fuck.
There's the free. Are you serious? The free square was 0.5 yards.
Yeah,
and
underdog was like, it was 0.5 for George Pickens.
What?
They wound up
What?
going back and honoring it, which was awesome. But yeah, no, it was 0.5, and he ended with -1.
What genius took the under on that? What?
Well,
Can
by
you
the way,
just
Jair
tell us-
Alexander,
And that's why George Pickens
Jamal
was so
Williams.
upset this past week too, because
Yeah,
now it's
what
just
is
like-
going on? Why aren't they getting their best receiver the ball? Didn't he unfollow?
he actually nearly had a touchdown, but the problem was he couldn't keep both feet in bounds, and that was more on Pickens because he had plenty of space, but he didn't want to fall down, so he didn't actually keep his second foot in. So that's why he had -1 yards. Otherwise, he would have had a pretty nice 15 to 20 yard touchdown.
Is there anything brewing there? Because I did read reports he unfollowed, I think, the quarterback and some other Steelers players. Is there anything there, something or nothing there, Tree?
It varies. I know they're trying to downplay it, but once again, Tomlin usually does this a lot with his star players. He downplayed a lot with Antonio Brown in like 2017, 2018. He likes to just let bygones be bygones, don't really do anything, massage it. Although Chukwuezekorfor for the right tackle went on an outburst and they benched him. So, I mean, Pickens does have a lot of talent, and that was his issue coming out of college, was a lot of potential like red flags in terms of like up here. So that's the main thing you worries me too. I mean, is this the beginning? I don't think it is. I think they'll try to get more involved in the game. I think he's a fantastic talent. But at the same time, I believe that it's I would say it's
Touch and go.
Touch and go. It's I'm hoping there will be no days of our Steelers. Knock on wood.
You don't have the
But-
personalities for that. It's not that level. It's not that era. That was the most volatile group of people ever assembled in one locker.
93 Oilers, they were more volatile. But
Yeah,
I mean, it was
but
up there.
no. I mean, come on. Antonio Brown, Ben Roethlisberger, and Le'Veon Bell, and Juju Smith-Schuster all in one roster.
And Martavis Bryant the year before.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And the
Let's
Pouncies.
pivot. Let's pivot to the least volatile quarterback potentially in the league. We're talking about Russell Wilson on the Denver Broncos. You guys are coming off a bye week. Previously, you defeated the Kansas City Chiefs. You got the Bills up next. Will you continue this win streak? Do you want to win against the Bills? Brandon Perna, the floor is yours. Take us through how you're feeling. We didn't get to hear how you felt about that win last week. Talk to us.
Like I told Tom yesterday, or no, on my podcast, it's one of the best wins we've had. It is the best win since Super Bowl 50, in my opinion. Could go back 20 years. Say it's a top 3 win ever against the Chiefs after that stupid drought. Here's the thing. A lot of people, including people here in Denver, smart people, don't think the Broncos are going to win this game. And it's not so much a knock on the Broncos. It's more of the Bills are in a desperate situation. They're backed into a corner, and we know they got the talent. It just, for whatever reason, doesn't come together every week. And some weeks it does. And a lot of people think it's going to happen against Denver. Not me. Not me. Not for a single second. I think this is the game we already turned the season around by beating the Chiefs. This is the game where afterwards everyone is going to say, oh shit, the Broncos, pretty good football team. We're heading into this game with just 2 guys on the injury report, and they both practiced in full right now. So our bye week came at a nice time. This is the healthiest team we have fielded all year. Our defense, over the last 3 weeks, okay, you do the last 3 weeks, they've allowed touchdowns on just 10% of the drives.
Addition
Best
by
in the
subtraction.
league. Best in the NFL at not allowing touchdowns. So the guy you mentioned he's the question mark. Because Russell Wilson can win us this game. He can play just well enough to keep it close, and we win it, but not because of Russ. And we could definitely lose the game because of Russ. Just don't know. Don't know. Yes, Adam.
Yes, after that rant and that little diatribe, Broncos are losing by 80. That's all I have to say.
Oh,
You have
no.
jinxed them to oblivion.
I am
All I
in
know,
we want to win mode. I was at
Josh
let's lose
Allen.
out. I'm a winner now.
Okay, that's good to know.
How many of you guys'
This-
teams are on 2-game win streaks? That's what I want to know.
Me.
Me and Tree. Me and Tree.
I think we're on a
Nobody
3-game winning streak. No, wait. Wait, we're not on a 2-game winning streak. I forgot we lost to Jacksonville.
But either way.
yeah.
Listen,
So we could be on a 2-game winning
Turnout.
streak if we beat that guy right there.
Oh,
Turnout.
yeah.
I do believe that you guys have a chance against the Bills. Josh Allen is a turnover machine. And the same thing, like they're having some wide receiver issues too with Stephon Diggs. Like, I don't know if everyone's happy in paradise over there in Buffalo. We'll see how that game plays out. We've already previewed the Thursday night football game. We got Tom's team and Tree's team playing each other this week. My team is playing Five's team this week, and we just previewed the Bills. Is there anything else that's going on in the NFL that you guys want to talk about this week?
I don't think we have talked about tonight's game enough.
Yeah, I mean,
So
tonight
let's-
is. Can we do some predictions for tonight? Like,
Let's talk about it then.
we will do the thing.
I got the Panthers winning because Justin Fields is not playing. So I got. Yeah.
When is Justin Fields supposed to come back? By the way?
Never.
We don't
He
know.
was doubtful, so like they were weird. They're weird about the communication though, because they're like, we still want to wait a day to see if he is, but he's doubtful. But I was like, okay,
He's
so-
doubtful, but he's out. He is like a 51% chance. Like,
Yeah.
I was like a whole word salad
yeah,
thing.
it's
I,
odd.
I don't know if the thumb's even healing or like reducing. So if the thumb doesn't heal, he needs surgery. He's out for the year because that's throwing hand.
Yeah.
For a
And
non-throwing hand, he'd play, but the problem is like
if the Bears want to win, they need to run the ball. Like they're one of the best teams actually running the ball, and their run defense is good. And the funny thing is for the Panthers defense, their pass defense is pretty solid. So, yeah, I think this is probably just gonna be an ugly game. Like, but it'll
gonna
be
be
a nice
beautiful,
test for like
actually.
Bryce Young. It will be. You know, the Bears defense has gotten better when they got a few pieces back. So, it
He
might
needs
be.
to.
Do you
5-50.
think?
Might be.
Here's a question for the field. Do you guys think the Panthers regret their quarterback selection?
No, well, to me, no, because no matter who they draft, like if it was Peyton Manning, he'd be getting like. Remember, Troy Aikman went 1-15. Like, doesn't matter. The Panthers are a terrible situation for any quarterback. Like, so no, I don't think they regret it at all. He's was set up to look bad.
I think with that team, it's almost impossible to evaluate him. Like you see like some progress and you're like, oh, okay, like that's what you like to see. But dude, the O-line's bad, the wide receivers are not good. You know, they need to draft talent or bring someone in free agency because
So
that's the only
we're
way you're gonna
saying
be
if
properly
CJ Stroud was starting there, he would look the same. That's what we're saying.
yes.
Yeah.
See, I don't know if he
Yeah.
would look the same though. I don't think he would because CJ Stroud has also been doing really well with a banged up O-line. He doesn't have a lot of weapons. I guess Tank Dell, who's like nice too, but Jonathan Mingo's a new rookie wide receiver that the Panthers got. So I think CJ Stroud might be doing better, but
Yeah,
then
but
that
not
also
that
comes
much
down to like
better.
comes down to coaching, like right? Because D'Amico Ryans versus Frank Reich, it comes down to a number of things. So it's impossible to tell, but yeah, it's gonna be rough.
I think we're overlooking the Dante Foreman revenge game.
And he's really good too. He did well against the Raiders.
The
I think
Bears
he's
are
one of
going
the
to
most
win.
underrated running backs in the league.
Yeah, the Bears are going to win because of Foreman. He's going to have 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, and that will be the reason Chicago wins the game. He killed it for Carolina. Like he made the loss of McCaffrey sting less, and then they're like, "Yeah, see you later."
I don't know what happened on Sunday.
Same thing
but
happened in Tennessee.
Heading into their last game, they were the 3rd best running defense, the Bears.
The Bears.
So-
Statistically.
So
I don't know what it is after this game that just happened, but
here's my thing. I don't know who's going to win this game, but I do know who's going to lose this game. All of us and everyone watching tonight's game, this is going to be the ugliest game of the year.
No, it's
like
gonna be
it is going to be
fantastic.
such bad football. Like it's
I don't think it's gonna be the worst game of
definitely.
the year.
Oh,
don't
you don't
think
think
it's
so?
Oh no!
I think
worst game of the year was
gonna
probably
be the
Panthers
most-
Saints. Panthers Saints, like in week 2 or 3. That was the worst game of the year.
It ain't gonna be the worst.
Bad
Honestly, the worst
teams.
primetime game, that Jets Chargers game was really bad.
Oh,
It was
that
bad.
Chargers Bears
well, the
game
Jets-
was really bad.
Yeah,
Like the
the
Chargers been
Jets-
involved in both of them, but dude, like there's some rough games. There's some still.
This is an interesting game because the Bears own the Panthers pick. So is it a win-win or a
The
lose?
Bears don't care, man. They lose.
Yeah.
Oh no. They win. Oh no. Like it's all good.
I think
It's very
no.
interesting.
I think the Bears would be better
That's
suited
good call, Linton.
to actually.
Like if you're the Bears, do you want to win or lose? If you're the Bears, do you want to win or lose this game?
So it has to be like it would be better statistically for them to lose, because then they would still have a chance of getting the 1-2 by positioning themselves in the top 3 and then hoping that Arizona pulls out at least one more win. So it would be a 3-way tie at the top, and they would get 2 out of the first 3 picks. But really, like you said, Tom, like I don't think it really matters. Like, but they don't, if they go 3 wins, like, I think it would be statistically better for them just to lose tonight. So actually, with that being said, I would take the Panthers tonight to win 20-18.
There you go.
in
Dude,
the
Colts
All right.
worst game
Broncos.
ever.
The Colts Broncos was so bad it was funny. I still stand by that as someone who streamed every single primetime game, that the Broncos 49ers game was worse. Because I did that with Perna. Like that game,
Oh,
that was
that
when
was
I think Jimmy
terrible.
Garoppolo stepped out in the back of the end zone. Like that game was so horribly bad.
Broncos Colts was worse.
No, that's what I was saying. But Broncos Colts was such a disaster. Like everyone was fumbling the ball. Like it was funny how bad
ugly.
it was. That at least provided entertainment. The 49ers Broncos was just damn boring. Like it was horrible.
There's a handful of those last year.
I'm going to say this game will not be the worst game of the year. I also have the Panthers, though. I'm going to go 24-20 Panthers.
Fair.
What about you, Tree?
I think it's going to be a messy game. Panthers are without a bunch of weapons on defense, including Brian Burns and CJ Henderson.
Yep.
Bears are without a lot on offense. Bears offense is iffy. Tyson Bagent has shown flashes, but he does force a lot of football. So, I mean, jury's still out on him. Does show some promise. Bryce Young, he looked awful against Indianapolis. Like he's overthinking things, but that just happens with most rookie quarterbacks with that transition. And his 2 pick sixes to Kenny Moore were off screens, which is really alarming. But I will say,
bad.
I mean, oddly enough, I keep thinking the Panthers went on a walk-off field goal. It's going to be something really bad, like 10-9, like a bad.
Okay, 10-9 Panthers.
9. Wow.
So we got 3 Panthers. Brandon?
Bears
What are you looking
30-17. Dante
Ooh.
Foreman gonna destroy his old team. Easiest
Sorry.
prediction I've made all season.
I might tail you
There
on
we
that.
go. There
Just
we
with
go.
my
And then
money.
lastly, TDG, what are we thinking?
Yeah, no, Panthers get the win, like 21-13.
You guys' lack of faith in Bagent Zero is
Yeah, I don't.
No, he's a double Bagent, dude. Trust me.
Secret agent man.
Yeah.
Let's go to the countdown.
Yes. Can we just
it's just
pivot?
gonna be
We
Pivot.
need some
Okay,
Bagent
guys,
orange.
let's
This
relax.
Smell bad.
Hey, Broncos country, let's ride.
20, 19, 18, 17, 16,
Bringing
15,
it back.
4. What?
Yeah. That's right, baby. Here we go now. Get ready. Yeah. 29 17, 16, 15, 4. Our viewing experiences tonight will be poor, 'cause we're watching the Panthers and we're watching the Bears. And everyone is gonna look on with deadly stares, going, what the hell is that? That's not football. It's an abomination.
No, it's actually
Shailene. In a while.
greatest game ever.
Shailene.
I'll start off. I got $2. Let's go, baby.
More points than the Panthers or Bears are going to score in the first half. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm gonna lose, so just keep going, guys.
51-95, so I did not win. Thank the Lord. Hallelujah.
I'm gonna lose.
Hey, good. I'm
Adam's
happy.
muted.
5 is muted. There we go. So I've got to mute your mic.
You're
Yeah,
top.
there
You're
you go.
muted.
There you go.
Did you hear what I said? I got $12. I got $12. That's
$12?
6 times more than Scooter. Suck it, loser.
And also more than both teams are going to score in single.
I got $160.
Ooh, not bad.
There you go. I got $316. Never mind, $321.90.
Well done.
Oh.
So, yeah.
I think if Tom,
I'm
if
still looking
Tom
for muffin
wins-
mix that I can consume. So I have not forgotten about that punishment. I'm still looking for muffin mix.
I think your punishment would just have to be watching the Bears and Panthers game with excitement.
But I'm already doing it.
I know, but that's a punishment all its own.
I know. I'm just punishing myself with that, though. That's no. What do we
If
got?
Tom wins Fan of the Year, he has to wear a tearaway suit at his acceptance speech and then rip it off in front of America. And there's got to be some really controversial political message on it.
We stand with Israel Abanikanda.
Oh my God. I'm gonna say for $300, maybe that's going a little bit too far.
Yeah.
Scooter,
3,000.
like, I think that's a bit much, like, personally. But I don't know what
Just a
Tom is
little
saying,
bit.
but I just think it's a little bit much. It's
A
little
shirt
bit
that
much.
says "I love soccer" more.
Oh no, soccer's the real football.
Not my football.
Yeah.
Not my football.
No, you
In
should
my
wear
NFL, you're allowed to hit quarterbacks.
Yeah. No, you should just have a giant, just letters that say FTP.
Okay, so what are we actually thinking?
Yeah, did we arrive at some? I was having audio issues.
Um,
No.
one eyebrow for Joshua Dobbs.
No.
That is like not fair. That is not
That's
cool.
terrible.
That is a veto-able
Scooter,
offense. I
did
would
you
not let
literally
you.
just go, guys, that's a little much. But he could shave an entire eyebrow off. Like,
Yeah,
anyone's not
you
gonna miss
do
that.
realize
That's
he has
fine.
alopecia, right?
I do. I was just referencing the TikTok.
What is this show? What is this show? Welcome
Nope,
to
won't do
Clickbait
that.
Sports.
No, I won't do it. I
Chat,
won't do
let
it.
us know
I won't do
what
it.
we should.
What? Okay,
No,
I just want to
You see
know
what's happening here? You see what's happening here?
what
You know what's
amount
gonna
of
happen on
money.
Sunday?
You know what? Here we go.
Wow.
How about this? If the Steelers win on Sunday against the
Oh,
Packers,
here we go.
I
Here
will
we go.
whip out the terrible towel that I have from Pittsburgh, and Tree and I will do a little, and I'll get memed to death. So is that?
Yeah,
is that
it's
good?
got to be clipped for social
I was
media.
going to make you do that anyway. I had to wear a cheese head last time we played. Come on,
That
man.
is true. That is accurate.
Yeah,
You
I
have
think
to
you'd
do it, and you have to do it anytime the Steelers score in that game.
Yes.
Oh,
So we got to have a little bit of
Yes.
a punishment. Just
Yeah,
in
yeah.
case.
It's got to be a
Yeah.
punishment. It can't be contingent punishment.
join me.
It's not
Join
gonna
You
be
can't just
enthusiastic,
dodge the
though.
punishment.
You're lucky, Tom. I almost said anytime the Steelers score touchdowns, and then I realized that might not happen. So anytime they score.
That's fair. That's fair. That is fair.
I like it.
right.
What do you guys have coming out this week?
I'll be streaming tonight, and then I.
What am I doing? Oh,
I got a CJ Stroud video coming tomorrow.
I haven't decided, but I think I'm gonna do which NFL stadiums get taken over by opposing fans the most. Like what is the worst actual home stadium for the actual home team?
I'm going to bet $5 it's Carolina Stadium.
The one problem I have though is like it's hard to get hard data. Like they don't track like how many.
I actually would do that.
how many visiting jerseys come in, but like just the only problem is I'm like coddling it together anecdotally, but it's still going to be good.
Yeah, SoFi, I feel like has to be up there.
SoFi's got to be the number one, but
Vegas.
I say
Yeah.
Carolina's up there because Charlotte's full of transplants. People tend to forget that.
yeah, the Commanders for years have been invaded by other teams. But remember, I mean, Lambeau got freaking invaded by all those Detroit fans.
Very, very aware. Yeah.
Yes.
Not a
So
big
like
show.
it does. I'm just looking for consistently invaded, stadiums where
Yeah, I
you're
gotcha.
just, it's like you just walk in and you're seeing all your buddies there if you're a visiting fan.
That's fair. We'll be on the lookout for that video. Tree, Perna, what you got coming out?
Perna,
I
you.
said CJ Stroud.
Well, I know for me, I'm looking MLB debriefing tonight. Me and Five are streaming on the Dumpster Fire. The shit shows. Sorry, Scooter. I know you don't like swearing.
Shisho.
Shishi.
Mhm. Yeah, but then on Sunday, me and Tom Grossi, we will be joining streams. And we will be doing the
We'll be
Steelers Packers
crossing the
games
streams.
together, and this man will be waving the towel.
One strong yellow stream.
Lots of
Grossi,
endless yellow,
Very
streams,
yellow.
which means a lot of dehydration. Let's go,
Yep.
baby.
Yep. If it's yellow, you're dehydrated. That's right.
You will be peeing for the D, but for my D. Mhm. That sounded really awkward. I'm going to stop.
Well, folks, thanks so much.
Yes. It
We
was a
made
show.
it.
Bye.
Congratulations, everybody.